Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. Start off with a roll call, please.
Callahan?
Here.
Houston?
Here.
Hannah?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Here.
Crusader?
Here.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Okay, moving to item C, the approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 7-0. Move to public comment. Is there any public comment? We have no cards, right? No public comment tonight, then we'll move on to, I'm sorry? They want to comment now? We barely got
I
started.
just wanted to see the look on their face.
Move to the consent agenda. I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda with the following. The minutes for the October 10, 2022 regular meeting, the Walmart Supercenter store number 750 Class E liquor license renewal that includes Class C beer permit, Class B wine permit, and Sunday service December 1st, 2022 through November 30th, 2023. The approval of the bow hunting request from Kevin Seidels for the 2022 bow season, and the Allerton Brewing Company Class B permit renewal that includes Class C native wine permit, outdoor service and Sunday service October 18th, 2022 through October 17th, 2023.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we move to the financials. Is there any discussion with regard to the financials? Any questions?
I see under the wastewater treatment plant, there's still an allocation for retirement pension fund for the city manager. Are we still paying that?
No, it's just, that line shows there because there's history and with how that position is split for cost center wise, so it'll always be there.
Then I have a question about the ambulance service. Are we paying quarterly on that, or is that?
They must have got behind or something. I don't know why we got 3 months at one shot, so.
Okay. And you checked to make sure that we hadn't paid the prior
Yep,
ones?
nope.
Okay, and then we've got the increase taking effect as of October 15th, which was the one-year renewal on our contract on that. Okay, anything else on the financials? Move then to the item B, which is,
No, you need to approve these claims yet.
oh, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
That's consent, so all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Approved 7-0. Next, we move to the budgeted and monthly transfers. Is there any discussion with regard to that? And then we can move to the item C, which is the revenues and expenses to date. Any discussion regarding those expenses and revenues to date? Okay, next we move to agenda item 4, which is the general obligation borrowing. First, we have A, the public hearing on the proposal to enter into a general obligation corporate purpose loan agreement. First, I need a motion to receive and file the proof of publication on the proposed proposal to enter into a general obligation corporate purpose loan agreement.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This would be a roll call to put it in, is right?
Consent.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, we've received the proof of publication, and now we'll move to whether a motion to hold the public hearing itself. Do I have a motion to hold the public hearing?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is this
Consent.
still consent, then all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 7-0. We're now in a public hearing. We don't have anything that's been submitted to us. Is there anybody that has any further discussion with regard to this issue?
I'm sure Maggie wants to talk about it.
Maggie only wants to talk about it if we need to talk about it.
Would you like me to make any comments on it?
I think we've been over it. I think everybody understands it. Is there any issues that anybody has, any questions that anybody has with regard to this? Basically, this is the $600,000 loan, which is taken out for the purpose of the police station, this is the improvement fund to do the build-out on the police station. We have a blocked-in loan, 3.95%, and Maggie has submitted the information to you. We've got Spear Financial, they are in favor of this as well, recommending that we do this. We've also been in contact with our bonding attorney, and he's also in favor of us doing this. So it's just a matter of council approving it, and that's what we're here for tonight.
Are we moving forward with the old Medical Associates building?
We are.
Has that been approved as far as the other side?
Everything's been approved as far as the building itself goes. We have the deed itself. We are in the process of finalizing all the transactions part of it. We're expected to close on October the 31st, which is next Monday. And I'll give you some more information on the other part of it later, but but first we just need to approve this part here. So if there's nothing further, then I would need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 7-0. We're now out of closed session. So next I need, under item B, I need a resolution authorizing and approving a loan agreement and providing for private placement and issuance of the general obligation corporate purpose notes series 2022B and providing for a levy of taxes to pay the same.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion with regard to the actual resolution itself? Hearing none. I'm sorry, Tom, did you have something? Oh, I thought I heard a voice from that side. I apologize.
No.
Then this would be a roll call vote.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Maggie, are you going to stay or are you going to head off to your next meeting?
I'm headed off to my next meeting. Thank you very, very
Aw.
much. So-
Thank you for coming.
But I will give your guests my copies of the award letter, and I know that's, so I'm sure that's light reading for them later tonight.
Exactly.
Nothing for the chief, though.
Thank you, Maggie.
I will be back in the end of November for your TIF report, so thank you.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thanks,
Thank
Maggie.
you.
Okay, let's move to item 5 then, which is the Independence Urban Renewal Area. First, I need a motion to receive and file the proof of publication of the proposed amendment to the Independence Urban Renewal Area.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This is consent, so all in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Passes 7-0. Next, I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. We're now in public hearing. There was nothing published with regard to this, and does anybody have anything? And there's nobody here to speak specifically on this. If you recall, this is the, we have to take it out first, is that what it was?
We had to take out, where Tyler Rasmussen built his storage units, we had to take that out because we wouldn't have enough time to collect everything, so this is putting it back in. And then adding the gymnastics studio.
Okay, so the first vote, so this is the public hearing part of it, so if there's no further discussion with regard to that, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. We're now out of the public hearing, so now we deal with the resolution itself. It's a resolution to declare necessity and establish an urban renewal area pursuant to Section 403.4 of the Code of Iowa, and to approve an urban renewal plan amendment for the Independence Urban Renewal Area. Do I have that motion first?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion with regard to this issue? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll call vote then.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Prusader.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item C of the agenda, which is the ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on the taxable property in October of 2022, addition to the Independence Urban Renewal Area pursuant to Section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa. First, I need a motion to approve the first reading of this.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the first reading. This is just a roll call vote. Roll call vote then, please.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay. Next, I need a resolution setting a date for the meeting which is proposed to approve the development agreement for the Storage Units LLC, including the annual appropriation tax increment payments. So first, I need a motion to set that date for November the 14th, 2022 at 5 o'clock PM to discuss the proposed improvement for the storage units that we just discussed.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there, do I take discussion on this now, or we wait till the hearing?
And, I mean, if
If anybody has any discussion on their
otherwise
questions on that.
We can wait till the 14th.
Okay, hearing none, then we have a roll call vote on that, please.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, I need a resolution. This is similar to the one we just had, except this is for the Noah Marting Gymnastics LLC. So this is a motion to approve a resolution setting a date of November 28, 2022, 5 o'clock PM, for the proposed approval of the development agreement for the gymnastics, including the annual appropriation tax increment payments. First, I need the motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have the motion and a second. Any further discussion with regard to this? I know we've talked about it in the past.
I did have a question, but then after I read that more carefully, you did explain the dates very well. Thank you.
Because I was
Sure.
going to ask him too. I'm like, why can't I do it on the same date? And I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
So this is a roll call vote then, please?
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
This also passes 7-0. Next, we move to resolutions. First, I need a resolution to accept the work covering the Liberty Trail South Extension Project.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there, we have the acceptance letter already from Crawford, do we not? I believe it was part of the packet.
Yes, and earlier this evening, you approved the final pay application as part of your claims, so this is just the final step. The contractor has completed the work in accordance with the plans and specs, and we recommend approval. The original contract amount was $401,000 and change, and the total work completed to bring the job to final completion was $376,000. So about $25,000 under the contract amount.
Always nice to bring it in under budget, isn't it?
That's right, that's right. On time and under budget, right? That's what
Excellent.
we're working for.
That's excellent, great, thank
Any
you.
questions from anybody?
Good job.
Thank
Got
you.
everything, all the signals are,
Yeah, no, this,
Things up and going.
yeah,
at one time, somebody was complaining they didn't work. I rode a bike up and tried it and it worked.
Good deal. Because we tested them and they worked when we tested them, so.
thank you. Okay, so this is a roll call vote, please?
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes.
That also passes 7-0. Next, we move to other business. This is the fire equipment disposal list. And we've got a list of items that the fire department have already replaced or are no longer needed, and some of them are expired. So I need a motion to approve the fire department to dispose of the specified items. Do you want me to read the items, or you guys have them on the agenda?
Got them right.
So
Okay.
moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. This is consent. Any discussion with regard to any of these items? Questions about it?
My only question is, are there departments that might need some of this, even though we're not using it anymore?
Yeah, once we get permission for the disposal, we'll reach out to some of the other departments, like the thermal imagers. We've replaced those with fundraising, but some other departments might not have them, because they are kind of costly, but if we can give them to them at a good price, similar to like what we did with our pagers and radios, we sold those to Decorah Fire at a pretty good discount, that we're still getting money back from that. And with those nozzles, there's still value there. We don't use them anymore, that they didn't fit our needs. So once we get permission, yeah, we'll go
Like
out.
the Scott Air bottles, are they, don't
Those
fit
are-
our equipment anymore, or they're expired?
They're expired. They have a 15-year shelf life, so we have to just take the heads off, drill a hole in them, and throw them away, unfortunately. So those we can't do much with. But anyone that has, that 2216 is the amount of air pressure that it can hold, the PSI. So that SARS unit, anyone that has 2216 air bottles, that SARS unit will work. But all of our air bottles are now 4,500 PSI, so it won't work for our system. And we've replaced our SARS unit, but it just won't work with our air bottles that we have. So some smaller departments have those 2216s, but a lot of people are going to those bigger bottles just because it's more air, so.
Very good.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Blake.
Blake.
Thanks, Blake.
So all in favor of the motion to allow the fire department to dispose of the specific items, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we move to the engineer update.
Yeah, just a quick update on Highway 150. All of the roadway paving, that'd be Main Line and the side street connections, that was completed last week. The signal installation began today with the foundations. They did 2 of those today, and they'll get the other 2 completed tomorrow. Sidewalks, driveways, ADA ramps, that work continues, and then they'll proceed with backfilling and seeding and the pavement markings. We do have a meeting with the contractor on Wednesday to get an update on the completion schedule for the remaining work as of Wednesday, and punch list items. We'll be reaching out to the departments, the city departments, so we can do a walkthrough later this week and generate a punch list so that they can proceed with completion of the project. I'll find out Wednesday really if November 1st is a reality.
Has to be, I've said it 16 times.
Oh, well, they haven't asked for
So be it.
any additional, and they've told us that they're confident that November 1st is the day, but there's a lot of people sharing the same construction space out there right now to complete the work that remains, and sometimes that doesn't go according to plan when everyone's got to share the same space, so.
So we won't have another meeting beforehand. Council meeting, then we won't have another council meeting before November 1st.
Correct.
So assuming that they're ready to go on November 1st, will we have some type of a ribbon cutting ceremony planned around that date?
Yes, we'll coordinate a ribbon cutting with City Hall, and we'll also, as soon as we get an update on Wednesday, we'll get a date posted to the city website as to their anticipated opening and decommissioning the detour, which I know everyone's looking forward to.
Exactly.
That's what the soccer game was for Friday night. Did you see the soccer game being played there at the intersection?
No.
There's like 10 workers out there after 5, apparently went. Had a heck of a soccer game going. I'm telling you, you talk about people in good spirits. They were hooting and hollering, having a heck of a time there on that new road.
Yep, they had just completed all of the roadway paving, so, yep, it was cause for celebration.
Exactly.
Brian, are they using all new signing as far as the DOT
Yes,
highway signing and everything?
yep, all new signs.
And that's all it's all here?
Well, it's not all here, but we're told it's all at the shop
Okay.
down in Cedar Rapids with the subcontractor who's responsible for the signing.
Okay.
How about the signals? Are we using the same signals that were there before the paving took place?
The controller unit was new enough, but there'll be new signal heads, new mast arms, new poles. So all of the infrastructure that you see, everything inside the box, will be reused because that equipment was new enough and is still compatible with the First Street system. So we're reusing all of that electronic equipment.
Any other questions for him? Any other projects besides that we need to talk about today?
I don't think so. That one's enough for right now.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, we'll move to council reports then. Jen, you want to start?
I have nothing.
Tom?
I'm holding
Uh-oh.
100 reasons why we need to get the speed cameras out of this town. I would hope that we could put that on the agenda for the committee of the whole and really discuss this thing. I haven't heard anybody speak positive about the speed cameras, and other than the council. And I've got friends that want to visit me with my illness, and I can't suggest that they come up here because I don't want them to get busted with the speed cameras. It's a speed trap, I'm sorry to say. So, other than that, that's all I've got to say.
Okay.
Nothing.
John?
I have nothing right now.
Said somebody bring up to me, and questions probably for, I did talk with Brad, but Brian, I think I saw the responsibility of 150 Bridge, 150 South Bridge, is patching or any repairs to that, is that city or is that all state DOT? For instance, the holes in the surface.
Yeah, my understanding is that is under DOT maintenance, so we can reach out to them. I know that there was one hole that was pretty bad on the, it'd be the northbound, that they did put some,
Bolt patch or
yep,
something.
they did some repair. I don't know whether it was cold or hot mix.
Yep.
But I know that the other two joints that are in the middle look like they are also going to need, if they don't already need attention, they're going to need attention before winter. So we can reach out to the maintenance garage with that concern if you'd like us to.
Please.
Wasn't
Okay,
it just
will do.
last year or the year before that they worked on the surface of that? Where they
They-
cut out a lot of material and repaired it?
They did, yep, they did, and
Didn't work very
Looks
well.
like it's right in that spot, actually.
yeah, and I wasn't familiar enough with the repair work that they did, whether these are new or whether that work is actually coming back out now. If it didn't stay, I can't comment on that.
Yeah, if you do that, Brian, that'd be a big help.
Be happy to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brian, anything else?
Thank you.
Mike?
Next committee of the whole, we'll be discussing the stormwater system,
Okay.
and Crawfords will present, and then we'll go from there and just on our decision-making with others.
What's the date of that, Mike?
2 weeks from tonight.
November 7th.
What'd you tell?
Yeah, November
I think it was
7th.
the 31st.
Yeah, November 7th is the date.
So, yeah.
It's Halloween.
Yeah, I know it.
I just have something, I just happened to see this today, and I just think anytime something really good happens in our community, it should be celebrated. But I just saw today that the Independence Community School District, all three buildings,
right.
reached a commendable accountability score for the Iowa School Performance Profiles, and I think that's really good.
They absolutely did. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
We found out about it as the school board a couple of weeks ago, but
Oh, did ya?
but it was sealed and everybody kept the secret pretty well.
Oh, yeah, because I just heard about it today, so I just thought that should be broadcast.
Sure. I guess I can go next. We are celebrating, and we're celebrating Susie's 7th anniversary here with the city as of Sunday, right?
Wow.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you.
Also, a couple of other things. The City of Independence was given the grant by the Trees Forever. The actual project is 2023 Iowa's Living Roadways Community Visioning Program. Independence is partnering with the Iowa Department of Transportation, and this is being delivered by the Iowa State University Landscape Architecture and Trees Forever. This is the 26th year of community visioning, so this is an ongoing project. The Independence was fortunate enough to have one of these projects in the past, in 2010. We will be starting with the kickoff in Ames is coming up on November 3rd, so several of us will be traveling to Ames for that purpose. We also have a committee meeting this week by Zoom as our first meeting, setting that up. The city manager's position, just a brief update, we're still in the process of applications. The application deadline is November 14th, so that is coming up. We're still expecting to have our interviews on December 9th and 10th. Let's see, we also have the police station, which we talked about, 1100 First Street East. 7,000 square foot building, formerly the Medical Associates Building. We will expect to be closing on that next Monday. We have had the architect in there numerous times. We've also had our a person that is involved in the HVAC systems, looking at the systems as well. We are hoping that within a week or so after closing the escrow, that we'll be sending it out for competitive bids on the project itself. We believe that the bid cycle's probably 3 weeks, so we're hoping that by December, we'll have a contractor in place and we'll be able to start work. The whole idea is we want to work on this during the wintertime, since it's almost all interior work, so that come spring, we'll be in a position to move the police station into that location.
Brad, this is probably a little early, but do you know if there's intentions to make a rear entrance?
There is. The rear entrance will be, if you're facing the building from the front, it would be on the back right side. And we will also be looking at, in the future, not necessarily as part of this particular project that we just got the funding approval on, but there'll be some garaging that'll be put there so that the police cars don't have to run all the time in the wintertime. Because
Okay.
right now, they have to run consistently, so that if they have to be out on a call, they have to go out. So we'll be doing that as well. At this point, we're only using the upper. There's a lower area where the pharmacy was, where Ryan Pharmacy was in the past. We're not doing anything with that section at this time because we don't need the space. But that's also available for us in the future. This week, we also have a child care meeting coming up with the business owners in town. As you may also recall, in addition to this purchase here, another acquisition that we have is we're acquiring the old theater over by Swan Lake. That is a gift that's being given to us. It's worth approximately $600,000. We expect to close escrow on that sometime next week or early the following week. And at that point, we'll be moving forward, looking for grant money so that we can have it built out. The whole idea is that the city's going to be allowing a daycare centers to be put in there to help with our daycare crisis here in Independence. So we'll have a meeting this week with some of the business owners. We're trying to figure out some of the logistics of how we're going to be working the process for increasing the number of child care slots that we have available and grants, et cetera. We also have a trails meeting this week that we'll be attending. We're looking at other options in terms of additional trails that we might be looking to in the future in terms of the city. We're trying to figure out if there's some areas that we can connect to make loops or to make things more accessible. So that's what we'll be looking at there. We also have the watershed stormwater meeting, which is coming up tomorrow, that John and I will both be attending.
Mayor, there was a question posed to me, and I could not answer it. They wanted to know what the square footage was of the old theater, and what is the current square footage of Kidsville?
The current square footage, I do not have exactly, but it's approximately 7,200 square feet is what I recall. I don't know what Kidsville is, but the idea is that the theater by itself is not sufficient to increase the number of slots that we need by enough. So we're looking at possibly as you're facing the theater itself on the right-hand side in the front, we're talking about an extension coming out so that we can add more space. It doesn't make sense to do this and then have something close to the existing number. Right now, we've got 80 on the waiting list, and we're trying to figure out a way to get that number down significantly. Currently, I believe the number for is 145 is the spaces that are available currently at Kidsville. So we're 80 over that. So we're looking to hopefully be able to have construction that would mount to approximately 200 slots eventually. And this project's not going to happen overnight. We're probably looking at a year or maybe a slightly more than a year, depending upon when we get the grant financing for it. The city itself would not be paying money other than we're using our name and we're using the equity that we have as a result of the gift, and the rest of the money is going to be coming from the business owners and from the Kidsville and from the grants that we expect to be able to obtain.
Is the current Kidsville building owned by the school system?
My understanding is it's 50-50. Kidsville owns half of it, the school district owns the other half of it, and we're hoping to convince the school district, as part of what we want them to do, to also consider bringing the after-school programs that they run over to the Kitsville location as well, over at the new location. So I don't know exactly what we would do with the existing buildings there, but we're hoping that that's, and part of this grant that we're talking about the community visioning in the First Street West corridor would be the traffic that we have with the current childcare that's out there along First, and whether, if we're moving that over to the location by the, where the movie theater is now, we would be changing some of the dynamics of some of the morning commute and evening commute and stuff. So we're hoping that that would help out with some of that as well.
I had two people, one their husband and wife, and one works 3 to 11. They wondered if there's going to be a 3 to 11 area available.
It's certainly going to be discussed. Currently, when in talking to the Kitsville people about it, they don't have enough people that are asking for it in order to get it. So that, I think we're probably talking about segments where we would start off, and rather than closing at 6 p.m. or whatever time they currently close, we would start with maybe go 8 p.m. or something like that, and see how many people that we are able to fill with those slots there, and then find out if there's a need. If there's a need, then we just have to find staffing for it, or if they'd have to find staffing for it. Any other questions about any of that? Okay, I think that's all that I had. Yes, that's all that I have, thank you. Susie? Susie
Nothing.
has nothing, so,
Chief?
Don't ask him.
I will report that, last January, I came to you and told you about a grant that I applied for with Community Foundation. We got the grant. I received the thermal imaging cameras about 2 months ago. Last week, we got 3 out of the 4 installed. I'm waiting on the 4th one till the new squad, some of the materials in for that. But those are up and running now. So all of our squad cars that are on the street right now on nights have the thermal imaging system on them. Those will be used. You can track down suspects. We can track down missing children or elderly or disabled very, very readily. It isn't the same exact thing as far as the drone, because the drone goes over top. This will be a lot quicker on the scene than calling out the drone. So we'll have that capability now. And that was with zero taxpayer money. It was $8,000 some grant from Community Foundation and $5,000 in a bequest from an estate that was given to us, which we held for a good project. We didn't want to spend it piecemeal. So that's up and running now. Otherwise, that's all I have for you.
That's awesome.
Nice work, thank you.
thank you. Blake, do you want to talk about your grant that you got, or your donation?
I saw that. That was really cool. I think I know.
Yep, so kind of like what they had, we had 4 estates left to us over the last 3 to 5 years. And the department saw a need to have a side-by-side. We had a few calls where they were out in the middle of a field, getting to those remote locations. It was tougher and tougher. With the city expanding their trail system, to get an ambulance to, the Liberty Trail South, it would be pretty tough, if possible at all. So we saw the need to do this, and we used the estate money to purchase our side-by-side. And we put that in service 2 Tuesdays, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. And we've been called out. It's been used twice already. We are on standby for a bicycle accident that happened on the new trail system. And then we were put on standby for a farmer who was having a medical emergency out in the field as well. So it's been used 2 times, and it's been on standby or used 4 times. So we're already seeing good use out of it and whatnot. So, and again, that didn't cost the taxpayers any money. That was money used from the association to purchase that piece of equipment. So.
That was pretty good in the winter, too, won't it?
Yep. A lot of the snowmobile trails, there's hundreds of miles of snowmobile trails in the county. This will give us access to those snowmobile trails as well. Knock on wood, we haven't had, I won't even say it. Just knock on wood, I'll leave it at that. So, any other questions?
No, I think that's really nice.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Blake. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion, meeting's adjourned. Yep.
Yeah.
John, did you put the last facade meeting? day on schedule.